Hey, it's Jason Linett here, and this video is going to be all about showing you the inner workings of the real core, the hub of SCRIPTNOSIS, which is the content editor machine. This is where you're able to go in and, using material curated from top professionals, perform the whole click and drag style editing that I'm about to show you. And through the wonders of modern technology, let's go directly now into my computer screen. Ooh, it's like magic. So here I am actually inside the website, and I'm already logged in. You're going to create your login credentials when you actually go into the site and sign up for the service. And you can see in this sample display, there's a list of existing clients. I'm actually going to go in, and let's do this in real time without any edits. I'm going to create a new client whose name is going to be Client McClient Son, because that's a good name. And let's make it a man. And for the sake of the exercise, I'm just going to say this month. But again, you're able to go in and customize it specifically for the individual. I'm just doing this to actually set this in motion. Let's say that he's working on some relationship issues. So with that, his phone number is 867-5309. I'm just going to plug in my personal address as the email address. And let's just type in my office location for now as the actual address. This way you can actually see it all in motion. And there we go. So notes, client called and scheduled October 10, 2018. And I'm just going to put that in here. And let's say they were referred over by Scott Sandland. Hey, Scott, thanks for the referral. So I've now created that potential client. And there we go. So now what I'm able to do is actually go in and go into scripts. And there's no records yet. So it's time now to actually go into the content editor and actually create the material. So let's hit new script. And we're going to create this for existing client. There they are, Client McClientson. And let's go and we can now select a category. And for the sake of this one, let's go after addiction. And let's go inside for smoking. And let's see, we've got a couple of options here now to create a short script, a shorter pre-made script that's been made for you to use instantly and edit as you wish. A longer pre-made script, again, you can use and create for yourself. Or favorites, you can see ones that have been previously saved in there. I'm going to go for long. And here I am actually now inside of the actual content editor. We're inside of here. Let's assume I can now get into, I just dropped my microphone on the floor, but let's keep rolling. I can see what hypnosis is and it isn't, and I can go into any of these now and actually make choices in terms of what's there. I can click on this little gear, this little cog, and that gives me options. We're actually the hypnosis pre-brief, the one from Sean Michael Andrews, and let's actually use that. That's going to give me the induction, the pre-talk, from Sean Michael Andrews. How cool is that? I can now look at the responsibilities of the unconscious mind. I can click the cog, and I can see there's some options in there. But let's assume for this one, I'm going to trust what Sean Michael Andrews has created, and I'm going to turn that feature off. I'm able to add things in. I'm able to remove things as I choose. Evidence procedure. This is referring to things like setting the SUDS scale. On a scale of 0 to 10, how big of a problem is that for now? Let's actually remove that one from now too, assuming I don't want it. Pre-induction, let's look here at the little gear, and I can see there's a little bit of content. Let me actually see what that is. So it's a bit of questioning just to ask, how long have you smoked for? How many cigarettes, pipes, cigars, and how many do you smoke a day or a week? What things tend to make you want to smoke more? Where do you smoke most commonly? And these are phenomenal questions you can do as part of your intake process inside of your work. Let me hit Save Changes, and I'm going to add that to it. But let's also play a game for a moment that perhaps I want to do that in a different order. If I wanted to, I can actually rearrange the content in such a way that I'm doing that as my intake before delivering the Sean Michael Andrews pre-brief. So 6 human needs, I'm actually going to turn that off for now, because let's actually go for an induction, which I can click this little cog and check this out. Inside of the system, here's all sorts of induction methods. I'm able to look through here and see there's some material that's already inside of here. Let's say I decide to go a little bit more visually oriented. It's a client who has recently moved from Oregon, and they've had an interest in climbing. I'm creating an example here. And let's actually go after this rocky cliffed coastline, which again, I can get a preview and see here is a whole induction that's there, and let me actually save changes, and let's use that one. Okay, so I've now picked my induction. Let's say I want to do some sort of relaxation process, and I can look at the various options, and we can see here is a float to sleep option from Kelly T. Woods, and let me look at this. And I'm able to look through the content. I'm just kind of scanning it briefly for the sake of this video, creating a state of relaxation, which this is really, really good material, having looked at it myself previously. But actually, here's one on breath focus. Let's look at that. And how great is it to be there in your stop smoking process and do a bit of a hypnotic deepening method, enhancing their awareness of their breathing. So let's actually use this one. And let me actually turn this one off just to use the breath focus. And now I'm continuing onward. Here's some deepeners. And let's look to see what's inside of here. We've got a couple of deepeners in the system as we're showing it now from Sean Michael Andrews. There's this 5-to-1 extended deepener from Jason Linett. Hey, why not? Let's turn off these other ones. Oop, I hit the wrong button there. Let's turn these ones off and turn this one on. That extended 5-to-1 deepener, for those of you that have trained with me before, this is a 5-to-1 deepener that brings in themes of mindfulness and evolutionary change, which are perfectly suitable, of course, for working with that stop smoking client. Let's go for a convincer here and look to see what we've got. And again, the content is growing on a regular basis. You can see there's a heavy arm convincer, there's a heavy eyes deepener, though also we've got a hand levitation from Dan Candell. Let's take a look here and see what this is accomplishing. It's allowing the hand to begin to rise by way of hypnotic phenomenon, letting it rise, letting it lower back down. I've actually seen this in process so far from Dan, and let's actually use that one as part of our hypnotic conviction work. And you can see as we continue onward, I already removed the evidence procedure. And look at this. This is how smart the system is. Just to kind of look ahead. This is showing that this is the second half of evidence procedure, and it requires part 1 to be added. So since I've already decided to delete it, it now is prompting me to delete this one as well. Let's take a look inside of aversion, and there's an aversion of physical sickness, which again, everything is flexible. You don't have to use aversion. But let's assume the client came in and says, oh, if you could just make me think these things are disgusting, I'd just stop right away. Game on. Let's put some aversion in here. And this gives you some options in terms of identifying the process. Let's go ahead and save that in there because it sure is fun. And we're into direct suggestion now. We can see, look at the amount of content here for stop smoking direct suggestion to appreciate the health. So from your intake process, you've been asking questions around what's it going to be like when this is no longer there? And perhaps rewind it back. You've done a little bit more thorough of an intake on the phone, and now you can prepare in advance. So let's look through this. Look at the amount of stuff that's inside of here to pick and choose from, which again, as you're in here, just to kind of show you to be fitter, happier, your mind is sharper. Let's open that up for a moment. And we can see the examples are already in here. To enjoy breaks and be more productive. And again, I can go in here and I can rate things myself. Let's say I didn't like that one, or I kind of liked it, I gave it 60%, or let's say it was so good I'm going to give it a 90% and save that there. So I'm able to go in here and actually turn off the things I want, turn on the things I do want. I'm just kind of doing this randomly for the sake of this video, but I've just now built my own custom designed protocol for this client to only spend money on positive things. Let's hit save on that. Let's see, hypnotic state enjoyment. There's some content here to look at what that is again, which we're constantly growing and adding stuff to this. Enjoying the world around you, taking these few final moments to enjoy this experience, ratifying the change, ratifying the trance state. Let's hit save. I'm going to hit OK. And let's go for the count out, the emergence, which again, a bunch of options are currently in the system at the time of this video. There's an energetic count out as opposed to a boring and dull and lifeless count out. I'm going to count from 1 to 5, letting your energy rise. Let's say this one's good. I'm going to save changes. I'm going to turn this one off. Ooh, actually, no, let's take a look at this one. Because I can see, look at this, I can see 5 people in the system have given it 5-star ratings, and I can look and see it's a self-emergence, basically. As you allow all these suggestions to stick, that's when those eyelids will easily reopen. That's exactly what this is about. Welcome back, which that's a beautiful statement to make in your sessions. It's building the presupposition that they've gone somewhere. Let's use this one and hit save. And there we go. While I've done it, let me go ahead and hit save as favorite. So any previous saves, yes, let me go ahead and save on that one. And let me go ahead and hit save as PDF. And this is going to be client son stop smoking. And I'm going to be a little bit nerdy with my labeling to say the date, 2018-10-10. And I'm going to hit save. Now, what this now does is it now puts this into the library, where even without having to put the date on there myself manually, look at this. This is showing you that it's script number saved in for our internal tagging and addiction for smoking. It was created on the 10th of October, 2018. I can click this little arrow, this little I button, and look at that. There's loss of control, telling secrets, getting stuck. That's the Sean Michael Andrews pre-brief. And I can actually make use of it here. Again, if I wanted to, I could have pre-induction changed the order and done the intake first and then did it. But again, this is all flexible, which you could, again, use this as a resource in your session. Or here's the tool to build up that confidence and have the material on hand if ready. Again, the whole tool system of workshopping your process in advance. So let's actually go out of here because, again, it's not about building dependency upon the system. It's about building the independence with you inside of your work. So you can actually hit this little arrow down, which activates the download. And wait for the wonders of modern science here. And there it is. There is a PDF that I fully downloaded from the platform. The PDF works on its own. And there it is. There's all my content in this admittedly 10-page thing that's ready to make use of. Creating positive beliefs. There's my induction. And I'm just kind of scrolling through this so you can see the amount of content. There's my 5-to-1 deepener process that I've added to the library. There's the hand levitation convincer in the style of Dan Candell. Here's a little bit in terms of aversion. And again, to be able to go through this, and some of you that have seen my stuff before, I teach how, like others, you can build massive confidence in your hypnosis really by workshopping the process with an empty chair. Well, this gives you an amazing ability that, as I've trained people over the years, the more you do the work, the more confidence you have in the process to actually, if you wanted to, rehearse the session before the client comes in. And again, this place where we're really training creativity inside of the system. Look through some of the other things. Hell, add a few more elements to your session. That way, when they throw a bit of a curveball in terms of, oh, if I could do this, this would be a whole lot easier, you are ready. So, SCRIPTNOSIS, this is a 21st century solution to the classic I need a script problem. And it's all about building your own creativity, your own flexibility, and your own wonderful skills as a practitioner of this process. The more you make use of the system, the more confidence you're going to have. And the more you're curating this content from top professionals, it's going to help you to build that unstoppable confidence that you need to really help your clients. So this has been a tour of the SCRIPTNOSIS Content Editor platform. Click the button on this page to get instant access to the system and join this amazing community of practitioners all around the world. This is SCRIPTNOSIS. See you on the inside.